take a look at how the standings are looking. As for Brighton, their loss means that they remain in sixth Euro spot as it stands right now, but they do risk Villa and Spurs closing the gap on them as it stands. OK, Robbo, what did you make of this game? A big win for Newcastle, one that they needed. They looked like they were very, very happy to have had that today, the way they were celebrating at the end of it.
And they'd have been happy when they saw the Brighton lineup, because the Brighton made several changes. And the way Brighton played into Newcastle's hands. They pressed high up the field. We know Brighton want to play out from the back, but there's a way of playing out from the back, and there's footballing suicide, which they committed because they were almost trying to play keep ball in their own penalty area. And Newcastle knew that. And they won the ball back time after time after time. Then they won free kicks. Then they won corners. And with the deliveries from Trippier into the box, they were always going to cause a problem. Brighton didn't get going until the second half when they brought on the substitutes, and they started to play beyond the pressure. But over the course of the game, Newcastle played at a tempo that Brighton didn't like. They looked a threat whenever they got the ball into the front areas. I thought it was a very good performance for probably 60, 70 minutes by Newcastle, and Brighton had a 20-minute spell where they played a little bit better. But overall, Newcastle fully deserved the victory.
Do you like what you see from Newcastle today, Stevie?
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of a game between the two sides that have sort of stuck their head above the parapet this season, and Newcastle came out on top deservedly. As I said earlier, it was 4-1, but it could have been 6 or 7. And Brighton are just becoming a little inconsistent and losing too many goals.
Just dropping off that little bit.
Yeah. Why are they all walking the whole way around the field? I mean, that's what you do at the last game of the season. You walk round the field and you applaud the crowd and thank them, and not after every game. It seems like every game now everybody's doing it.
Is he being miserable, Robbo?
Am I being miserable, though? Is it?
Well, walking around the pitch, taking your shirts off and throwing it to the crowd, you're almost celebrating that you've won something, or that you're always going to get into the Champions League. The only thing I would say is lots of teams now, particularly in the Bundesliga, they go to the edge of the penalty box and they hold hands. Juventus used to do it for a lot of times under Conte. They run towards the fans and go on their knees. They do that every game when they win. But that was a totally different celebration. That was almost saying, and Steve is absolutely right, you had to question it, is this the last game? Or is this a lap of honour? What are they doing? So they have to be a little bit careful of that. It's not quite the right attitude, I don't think.
Oh, God, are these two being grumpy?
See, not just me. Thanks, Robbo.
I don't know. It is the kind of thing. I mean, obviously, you know, when on the Gab and Joe show, we sort of did our percentages, and we thought, you know, we had United, I think, at 85% and Newcastle at 75%, because, you know, we thought they could possibly drop points against Brighton. Last game of the season is Chelsea away. You just don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea. This is the kind of thing where I'm just wondering, in terms of karma, you know, are you kind of perhaps inviting, you know, bad faith here? Because I know, yeah, you can win on Monday night against Leicester, but, you know, Leicester are desperately trying to, you know, find points to stay up. So you'll be facing a very motivated opponent. If something goes wrong there, I wouldn't put all my eggs in the Chelsea basket away from home. So it is a bit unusual to see.
OK. Let's take a look at the top 4 odds then.
No, you don't have to apologise. You're OK.
I'm not apologising. I think it's a bit too much. I think the fans are brilliant at St James's Park, and the players were just saying thank you very much for all your support. Newcastle, big favourites of these teams here to finish in the top 4. As I mentioned, they can secure it on Monday if they do beat Leicester. So let's take a look at what is to come for them. They've got Leicester City. They'll be back at home cheering the fans on again, no doubt, for all of you guys. And then they round the season out against Chelsea. As for Manchester United, they're at Bournemouth, and it's Chelsea and Fulham, Liverpool, Aston Villa, and then away to Southampton. Do Liverpool have any chance at all, Robbo?
They have a chance, but a very slim one. I think Manchester United will get enough points that Liverpool can't catch them. I think that Newcastle will go and win their game against Leicester and qualify for the Champions League. So Liverpool have had a great run of form, and credit to Klopp and the players to bring it all around. But it's a little bit too late, I'm afraid. I think Manchester United will join Newcastle in the top 4.
Same question for Stevie Nicol.
I will just echo the sentiments of Mr. Robson.
OK.
Too little, too late.
Gab?
Yes, I had Liverpool at 40% before this game because I thought Brighton could maybe get something. But this is a really, really big win for them. Liverpool 7 points, 7 wins in a row. But I just think they're just going to run out of season on this one. And so for me, I'm not going to go higher than 15-20% at this stage.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.